Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The spatial property of the way in which something is placed. The placement of the chairs. The act of putting something in a certain place. Contact established between applicants and prospective employees. The agency provided placement services. The act of arranging and adapting a piece of music. The spatial property of the way in which something is placed. The arrangement of the furniture. The thing arranged or agreed to. They made arrangements to meet in Chicago. A piece of music that has been adapted for performance by a particular set of voices or instruments. An organized structure for arranging or classifying. He changed the arrangement of the topics. An orderly grouping of things or persons, considered as a unit, the result of arranging. A flower arrangement. The act of putting something in a certain place. Military installation consisting of a prepared position for sighting a weapon. A determination of the place where something is. The act of putting something in a certain place. A determination of the place where something is. The act of putting something in a certain place. A point or extent in space. A workplace away from a studio at which some or all of a movie may be made. They shot the film on location in Nevada. A condition or position in which you find yourself. The unpleasant situation, or position, of having to choose between two evils. A job in an organization. The spatial property of a place where or way in which something is situated. The position of the hands on the clock. The particular portion of space occupied by something. A rationalized mental attitude. An opinion that is held in opposition to another in an argument or dispute. A way of regarding situations or topics, etc. The arrangement of the body and its limbs. The relative position or standing of things or especially persons in a society. Atheists do not enjoy a favorable position in American life. A point occupied by troops for tactical reasons. Put into a certain place or abstract location. The act of putting something in a certain place. An item on a list or in a sequence. Moved from third to fifth position. The post or function properly or customarily occupied or served by another. Cause to be in an appropriate place, state, or relation. In team sports, the role assigned to an individual player. What position does he play? The act of positing, an assumption taken as a postulate or axiom. The appropriate or customary location. The cars were in position. Causing to fall into line or into position. The act of putting something in a certain place. The spatial property of a place where or way in which something is situated. He specified the spatial relations of every piece of furniture on the stage. An organic process that takes place in the body. Respiratory activity. The state of being active. His sphere of activity. The trait of being active, moving or acting rapidly and energetically. The level of activity declines with age. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. Volcanic activity. Any specific behavior. They avoided all recreational activity. Chemistry, the capacity of a substance to take part in a chemical reaction. Catalytic activity. A person who is in a position to give you special assistance. He used his business contacts to get an introduction to the governor. The physical coming together of two or more things. Contact with the pier scraped paint from the hull. A thin curved glass or plastic lens designed to fit over the cornea in order to correct vision or to deliver medication. Be in or establish communication with. He never contacted his children after he emigrated to Australia. A communicative interaction. The pilot made contact with the base. Be in direct physical contact with, make contact. The wire must not contact the metal cover. A channel for communication between groups. The act of touching physically. Her fingers came in contact with the light switch. Electronics. A junction where things, as two electrical conductors, touch or are in physical contact. They forget to solder the contacts. Close interaction. They kept in daily contact. The state or condition of touching or of being in immediate proximity. Litmus paper turns red on contact with an acid. A bicycle with two sets of pedals and two seats. One behind the other. Ride tandem on a bicycle built for two. An arrangement of two or more objects or persons one behind another. Astronomy. Apparent meeting or passing of two or more celestial bodies in the same degree of the zodiac. An organization of people, or countries, involved in a pact or treaty. The act of adjusting or aligning the parts of a device in relation to each other. The spatial property possessed by an arrangement or position of things in a straight line or in parallel lines. A wheel that regulates the rate of movement in a machine, especially a wheel oscillating against the hairspring of a timepiece to regulate its beat. Mathematics. An attribute of a shape or relation. Exact reflection of form on opposite sides of a dividing line or plane. The seventh sign of the zodiac. The sun is in this sign from about September 23 to October 22. Harmonious arrangement or relation of parts or elements within a whole, as in a design. In all perfectly beautiful objects there is found the opposition of one part to another in a reciprocal balance. A weight that balances another weight. Equality of distribution. Something left after other parts have been taken away. He took what he wanted and I got the balance. Astrology. A person who is born while the sun is in Libra. Hold or carry in equilibrium. Bring into balance or equilibrium. She has to balance work and her domestic duties. A scale for weighing, depends on pull of gravity. A state of equilibrium. Be in equilibrium. Compute credits and debits of an account. Equality between the totals of the credit and debit sides of an account. The difference between the totals of the credit and debit sides of an account. Architecture, the arrangement of columns, especially freestanding columns, in a structure. The spatial property resulting from the arrangement of parts in relation to each other and to the whole. Musical creation. An essay, especially one written as an assignment. He got an A on his composition. Art and technique of printing with movable type. A musical work that has been created. The composition is written in 4 movements. The spatial property resulting from the arrangement of parts in relation to each other and to the whole. Harmonious composition is essential in a serious work of art. The way in which someone or something is composed. The act of creating written works. Musical creation. A mixture of ingredients. Something that is created by arranging several things to form a unified whole. He envied the composition of their faculty. Surgical procedure that creates a new fenestra to the cochlea in order to restore hearing lost because of osteosclerosis. The arrangement of windows in a building. Geology, the geological features of the Earth. The act of forming or establishing something. The act of fabricating something in a particular shape. An arrangement of people or things acting as a unit. A defensive formation. A particular spatial arrangement. Creation by mental activity. The formation of sentences. Natural process that causes something to form. The formation of gas in the intestine. The spatial property of things that are not properly aligned. Magnitude or extent. A building of vast proportions. The relation between things, or parts of things, with respect to their comparative quantity, magnitude, or degree. An inordinate proportion of the book is given over to quotations. Harmonious arrangement or relation of parts or elements within a whole, as in a design. Balance among the parts of something. Adjust in size relative to other things. Give pleasant proportions to. The quotient obtained when the magnitude of a part is divided by the magnitude of the whole. Harmonious arrangement or relation of parts or elements within a whole, as in a design. A ratio of 2 quantities that is constant. A part of a forked or branching shape. A development that complicates a situation. The court's decision had many unforeseen ramifications. The act of branching out or dividing into branches. An arrangement of branching parts. The property possessed by an array of things that have space between them. The time between occurrences of a repeating event. Some women do not control the spacing of their children. The property possessed by an array of things that have space between them. The placement of the fingers for playing different notes, or sequences of notes, on a musical instrument. Touching something with the fingers. The act of positioning close together, or side by side. A grammatical relation between a word and a noun phrase that follows. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer is an example of apposition. Biology. Growth in the thickness of a cell wall by the deposit of successive layers of material. The act of placing in a new position. An unofficial association of people or groups. The smart set goes there. Get ready for a particular purpose or event. Set up an experiment. Several exercises intended to be done in series. He did 4 sets of the incline bench press. Representation consisting of the scenery and other properties used to identify the location of a dramatic production. The sets were meticulously authentic. A relatively permanent inclination to react in a particular way. The set of his mind was obvious. Disappear beyond the horizon. The sun sets early these days. Decide upon or fix definitely. Put or set, seeds, seedlings, or plants, into the ground. Establish as the highest level or best performance. Set a record. Urge to attack someone. Set down according to a plan. A carefully laid table with places set for 4 people. Usually followed by to, or for, on the point of or strongly disposed. We are set to go at any time. Converted to solid form, as concrete. Make ready or suitable or equip in advance for a particular purpose or for some use, event, etc. Determined or decided upon as by an authority. The time set for the launching. Equip with sails or masts. Insert a nail or screw below the surface, as into a countersink. Locate. The film is set in Africa. Fixed and unmoving. With eyes set in a fixed glassy stare. Put into a certain place or abstract location. Adapt for performance in a different way. Set this poem to music. Psychology, being temporarily ready to respond in a particular way. The subject set led them to solve problems the familiar way and to overlook the simpler solution. Become gelatinous. Situated in a particular spot or position. A house set on a hilltop. Fix conclusively or authoritatively. Set the rules. Evil Egyptian god with the head of a beast that has high square ears and a long snout, brother and murderer of Osiris. Arrange attractively. Alter or regulate so as to achieve accuracy or conform to a standard. Estimate. The process of becoming hard or solid by cooling or drying or crystallization. He tested the set of the glue. Bear fruit. Set in type. My book will be typeset nicely. A group of things of the same kind that belong together and are so used. A set of books. Any electronic equipment that receives or transmits radio or TV signals. The early sets ran on storage batteries. Apply or start. Set fire to a building. A unit of play in tennis or squash. They played 2 sets of tennis after dinner. Being below the horizon. The moon is set. Fix in a border. The goldsmith set the diamond. Give a fine, sharp edge to a knife or razor. Mathematics, an abstract collection of numbers or symbols. The set of prime numbers as infinite. Put into a certain state. Cause to be in a certain state. Set the house afire. Put into a position that will restore a normal state. Set a broken bone. Set to a certain position or cause to operate correctly. Set clocks or instruments. The act of putting something in position. He gave a final set to his hat. The descent of a heavenly body below the horizon. Before the set of sun. Embryology. The organic process whereby a fertilized egg becomes implanted in the lining of the uterus of placental mammals. A surgical procedure that places something in the human body. The implantation of radioactive pellets in the prostate gland. The act of planting or setting in the ground. The act or fact of interposing one thing between or among others. The action of interjecting or interposing an action or remark that interrupts. The condition of being arranged in social strata or classes within a group. A layered configuration. Forming or depositing in layers. The act or process or arranging persons into classes or social strata. The placing of seeds in damp sand or sawdust or peat moss in order to preserve them or promote germination.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.